The Republican Party, in the build-up to the midterms, had this commitment to America plan. And they talked a lot about inflation, about crime, about all of these issues, high gas prices. And they said, when we take over the House, we're going to have a plan to address those issues. And ladies and gentlemen, they have revealed their plan. They're going to investigate the stink out of Hunter Biden. That is their plan to solve the issues of our time. And boy, are they going all in on it. Here's one moment that about sums up how they feel about all political issues in one moment of this press conference. It's not related. It's not like the person saying, talk about inflation, and then this happens. But picture that's what's happening, and you'll get a perfect context for the political moment we're in. Take a look.
More than 14 now. Whistleblowers come talk to us. That's what we're going to focus on.
And my last question is, what are the grounds?
If we can keep it about Hunter Biden, this is kind of a big deal, we think. If we can keep it about Hunter Biden, that would be great.
So again, what they were talking about was completely separate. I think they were about to ask about the January 6th something. But that sums it up. Can we just keep it about Hunter Biden? Can that be the next 2 years? Can we just keep everything about Hunter Biden? Hilarious, but truly that is what they're going all in on now that they have officially been projected to be keeping the House. And it was so cool put together, let's see here, by, if I'm not mistaken, Midas Touch again, coming in clutch all the time. And they highlighted all the times before the midterms, not all the times, but a couple times where Republicans were saying, we're going to address the kitchen table issues. And then they juxtaposed that to the last like 24, 48 hours where Hunter Biden has been the only thing coming out of all these individuals' mouths. Take a look.
House Republicans are polling ahead of Democrats because we've been disciplined, and importantly, we're listening to the American people.
We heard the same thing, kitchen table to dining room table to inside the factory. Can I afford it? Can I afford to fill up my tank? Can I afford the food, the milk?
Emails purportedly belonging to Vice President Biden's son, Hunter, has all the classic earmarks of a Russian information operation.
Can I find baby formula?
Bring down the price of gas, the price of utilities.
The things that people care about. Behind Glenn and Andrew is a map from Hunter's laptop. This was a PowerPoint presentation on his laptop in Chinese.
When we roll out this commitment to America, I think you're going to see a lot of enthusiasm.
A government that's accountable.
We're going to talk about the issues that matter to the American people.
If we can keep it about Hunter Biden, this is kind of a big deal, we think. If we can keep it about Hunter Biden.
It's so
They're
good.
obsessed.
It's so good. Yeah, so that's what we got to expect, you guys. And what was announced is the new Republican chair of the Oversight Committee is launching an investigation into Hunter Biden and was revealing what they're going to be diving into and all these purported issues with him. And I did a whole segment in the past about Hunter Biden and what was aggravating about what he did, what is the part that the right wing is manufacturing and fabricating, and why it's, number one, not as big of an issue as they make it out to be. The connections they make to Joe Biden aren't there, but then also admitting to the fact that Hunter Biden had the position that he had wasn't appropriate. But again, the story they tell is so far beyond that, and it's not relevant to, in the ways they try to make it out to be, the American people. It's not going to solve inflation, gas prices. As we knew, this is what I used to say when we would cover all of these people criticizing Biden who caused inflation. And I would say, great, I hate inflation too. I have an explanation for why it happened and what will cause it to soften up as we go forward. What is your proposal to fix this problem? And we want to get anything. Not to mention the hypocrisy on the issue of Hunter Biden. Look at Jim Jordan saying, it's a little fishy that Hunter Biden has had business dealings in other countries. Try to figure out why this might be a little hypocritical.
Connecting the dots to a national security threat to America, because that's, in my view, what's most important here. It's not about attacking a sitting president's family. It's about what this represents with regard to communist China and other adversaries. Can you connect those dots?
Yeah, it seems like he's doing business deals in all kinds of countries that are adversaries to the United States. It's Ukraine. It's Ukraine's not an adversary, but at the time it was a corrupt kind of place when he's over there. But Russia and China. And of course, remember how this story has changed. And we pointed this out yesterday. At first, when this came out 2 years ago, it was, oh, no, it's not Hunter Biden's laptop. It's just Russian disinformation. And then it was, well, okay, it's his laptop. Maybe it's really not Russian disinformation. But President Biden wasn't involved. Remember, he said, I have no knowledge of my son's business dealings.
Connecting the dots to a national...
So Trump has business dealings and interests worldwide also. And he's actually the guy who directly benefits from those. The connection they're making is Hunter's interests maybe influence his father's interests, and that connection they're not making accurately with evidence. But then they ignore completely the fact that the Trump organization, Trump, that's the name of the guy who started it, literally has business dealings across the world, but nobody cares. Or at least on their side, they didn't. Especially because we just found out foreign countries spent a bunch of money, hundreds of thousands of dollars at business interests and properties of Trump, which is of course a conflict of interest. It's not necessarily any quid pro quo going on that is being alleged at this time, but it is a concern when someone has those types of business interests directly and they're president and that could sway them. That's not great. But why they care so much about this Hunter Biden story with no interest in what would be even more of a blatant example of this conflict of interest just shows the unseriousness of all of this. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to be a part of what makes this show possible, plus get access to the full video version of the show hours before any of the clips are uploaded to YouTube, plus get access to an extra full show every Saturday that only members can see, you can do so by going to patreon.com/Luke Beasley. That's patreon.com/Luke Beasley, and there is a link in the description.